Так, всем привет, наверное, вот так вот микрофон поставлю, вот так вот на путь, и как и в прошлом видео получается мы писали ОС по туториалу. Сегодня мы закончим смотреть реальный диск, потому что у меня не особо есть много времени. Тут опять сынишка избавился, да. USDF, Butterfly OS. Так, мы остановились вот тут, и опять же мне придется вот тут делать, править. Окей, рейтинг from disk.
1 million and a new million gold elixir by Raban.
Wir bei Regeneron verwandeln Wissenschaft in Medizin, weil unsere Welt für mehr bestimmt ist.
X bits 0 to 5 and the head number will be in the DH register. We can begin by dividing the logical block address stored in AX by the number of sectors per track. That number is a word, so we need to clear DX because the div instruction divides DX AX to the word operand. After this division, we will have the result in AX and the remainder in DX. To finish calculating the sector, we need to increment the remainder by 1, and then we will put it in CX, which is where the output should be. Next, we performed a second division.
Okay. DX, X, X, div
division to the number of heads per cylinder.
Okay. Heads.
This will give us the cylinder in AX and the head in DX.
Топчик.
Now we just need to shuffle the results so they are in the correct output registers. Since DL is the lower 8 bits of DX, we can simply move from DL to DH so that the head number is now in DH. The cylinder is a bit weird because it is split. This is what the CX register should look like. So we need to move the lower 8 bits into CH, which is the upper half of CX. For the upper 2 bits, we can shift them to the left by 6 positions and then OR the result to the CL register, which already contains the sector number. Now,
Что там за число? 6.
now, to be nice, we will save the registers that we modify and are not part of the output. So we save AX and DL by pushing them to the stack. And when everything is done,
Стоп, DX.
restore them. But since we can't push 8-bit registers to the stack, we push the whole DX, and when we pop, we only restore DL. Fine.
Делаю.
Finally, we can return from this method. Next, we will write a method that reads from a disk. As parameters, we will have the logical block address into AX, CL will contain the number of sectors to read, DL will point to the drive number, and ESBX will point to a memory location where we will store the data. The first thing we need to do is call our conversion function. But since the function will overwrite the contents of CX, which contains the number of sectors to read, we should save it first by pushing it to the stack. Let's quickly look at the function we want to call, the read sectors from drive function, and check all the parameters. Cylinder, sector, head, drive and memory destination should already be set. All that's left to do is set the number of sectors to read in AL and 0 to hexadecimal in AH. The sector count is saved to the stack, so we pop it into AX and then we set AH. And now we can call the interrupt 13H. In a virtual environment this should work perfectly, but unfortunately in the real world floppy disks tend to be pretty unreliable. To address that, the documentation recommends us to retry the read operation at least 3 times. So let's add that. First, let's set the number of times we want to retry in a register that we haven't used yet, DI, and then begin a loop. We don't really know what registers the BIOS interrupt will overwrite, so we save all of them to the stack using push A. There's also another quirk of some BIOS is that they don't properly set the carry flag, so we set it ourselves. This is how we can check the result of the operation. If the carry flag is cleared, that means that the operation has succeeded, so we can jump out of the loop. Now we can restore the registers using pop A. If the operation fails, we need to reset the floppy controller, so we will write a method to do that. Next, we decrement I and DI and check the loop condition. If DI is not yet 0, we jump back to the beginning of the loop. If we exit the loop, that means that all of our attempts have been exhausted, and the operation still failed. So we will jump to another place, which will simply display an error message and stop the boot process. 16A. With the function 0, which waits for a key press, after which I jump into the address FFFF (0000), which is where the BIOS starts, effectively rebooting the system. As a last thing, I save the registers that were modified to the stack and restore them before returning.
Ушак.
The disk reset method is really simple. It only has one parameter, the drive number in DL. All we need to do is call interrupt 13H with the AH register set to 0. This will reset the disk controller. If the operation fails, just like before, we jump to the same floppy error label that prints the error message.
Okay.
After writing all this code, let's give it a try and see if it works. Let's go back to the main function and try to read some data from the disk. The BIOS should set the drive number from which it loaded our bootloader in the DL register. I use that useless field that we talked about earlier to store its value. Then I set up the call of the discrete function to read the second sector with LBA1. Now let's compile and run our code. I kept forgetting the command line for running the VM.
Yeah, bro.
So I decided to create a run.sh shell script, which simply contains the demo command. And it looks like we have a problem. The hello world message doesn't appear anymore, so there is a bug somewhere. I think now would be a great time to introduce another extremely useful tool, which is called Box. This is
Нет, from disk field. Что же?
Nichts knackt so wie ein Magnum. Entdecke Magnum Bonbon im Snackformat. Magnum.
Nachhaltig heizen. Like a Bosch. Mit den
Sim. Bato C6 Dword index musik dx dword begin yes mudisha musik тут нормальные push-ins, 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 push-ins. Сейчас разрешение 13 инч пупа диск 16 трай. Слезла. Ладно, я просто скопирую код. Нормально. Я не знаю, в чем была разница, в чем-то рофл там был. равно. Офигеть, как мало. Но тоже идет респект, поэтому не судьба. Короче, прочтывание с диска. Так вот ничего, всем пока. Маленький видос, но в целом мне нету времени снимать. Так что вот так вот. Всем пока.